Hello, welcome to Mostly Off Topic Plays the One Ring, second edition. This is session 9 and episode 15 of the Eriador Here, There and Everywhere campaign. Joined by some of the usual crew. Unfortunately, Gabe is burying his wife. No, he's packing for his wife. Gabe is doing something for his wife. Matt is moving house. And we are therefore joined by a smaller crew. We've got Joe. Do you want to say
Hello.
hi, Joe? Sean?
Hello.
And the soon-to-be married Alessandro.
Hello everyone.
So firstly, Alessandro, congratulations on your upcoming wedding.
Thank you.
We're not going to cover what we were talking about before the camera started rolling, in case his future wife watches. But anyway, okay. So, who can recall what happened last time?
I recall that the company are in the Shire.
In the Shire.
That they have eventually been welcomed and made to feel at home after a little bit of negotiating with officials, and have taken part in the annual harvest
Festival. Yes.
between Bridgeford and Whitfurrow.
Budgeford and Whitfurrow. Yes.
Budgeford.
And they sit like across each
go.
other. The river separates them, and they're basically the same town separated by a river. Very similar to Buda and Pesh, really, in Hungary, for those interested.
Or Grimsby and Cleethorpes.
Or Grimsby and Cleethorpes, for a slightly more UK niche example. Top tip, don't go to Grimsby or Cleethorpes expecting it to be anything like Budapest, because it's not going to be.
Or the Shire.
In fact, yes, even more so. Yeah, so you had joined in a number of the games, won some of the games, collected a substantive amount of points for your respective towns, and had finished the evening with a substantive amount of Shire brewed beer in the marquee, telling tales of daring do. Tolman really kind of explaining what he's been up to on his adventure to a group of disbelieving but enthralled Shire folk.
Yeah, and in typical Tolman style, there was some embellishment of the truth, but it was done with gusto and well-meaning.
Yeah, all anecdotes only need to bear a resemblance at best to the truth. So you wake in the Two Squares Inn, coming around with a hazy recollection of how you managed to obtain a room for the night at the insistence of a number of the older hobbits of Whitfurrow. It's a lovely warm morning, mid-morning by the time that you all stir, with some broken heads and the smell of breakfast rising through the floorboards from downstairs. Bird song and bright light streaming through the windows. Fresh breeze. You look around at your companions strewn around. Hear the footsteps and the creaking of the floorboards as Gudrun makes her way past the room with all the male members of the party. Nathaniel. So go.
Gudrun is a bit disgusted by the smell of meal and breakfast, because it passed all the night rolling on the bed with a terrible stomach ache after the incredible amount of pie that she ate in the festival during the challenge with the eating pie challenge. So
She's feeling a little bit full still. A little bit full. That is fair.
yeah.
Nathaniel stirs a little bit, looks around, his hands goes to his sword, and then he settles. How could it be so late? I'm normally up by Sparrow's crack, he says, in my first impression of Nathaniel. Or Boromir. I haven't decided which of those it could be. What do you want to do?
They are
Basically
they are
the
so
same,
close.
It's true.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Yeah. So, I think Tolman is probably torn between being quite hungover and not really wanting to get out of bed, and but he also would quite like breakfast. But I think the other thing that's really kind of on his mind, underneath it all, is that he is aware that there is a threat to the Shire. Maybe there's more of a kind of a black mood to his hangover than there would usually, and that he knows in the West March there are rumours of things, and he has family there. So maybe he's beginning to, as he sobers up, he's beginning to feel maybe there's some more serious things to consider here. Some of the kind of lightheartedness and mischief making has kind of gone for now.
Bacon.
But he's probably more quiet and pensive than he would
Fried
usually be.
potatoes. Fried tomatoes.
Maybe I could manage a little bit of breakfast
Wafting.
before we set off anyway.
Sausages.
Well, are they? Did you bring those, Gert?
Well, no, we lost all the sausages at the bridge. Gert rolls over.
Oh well. I'm not a big fan of Whitforrell sausages, but probably worth a go before we get to the West March anyway.
Esteldor.
I presume he probably woke up with a headache.
I imagine he partook.
Yeah, he definitely did. Yeah, he'd be up for go down to have breakfast.
Mm-hmm. Do you take your weapons with you?
No, I don't think
No.
Tolman would.
No, not this time.
Yes.
Leave him in the room.
Okay. Isildur leaves his sword. Nathaniel doesn't. There's no way Matt's leaving the sword behind. It's just not happening. Gert decides he's going to stay for another hour or two. He's got a young family. He takes sleep where he can get it. And you kind of happen out onto Gudrun, she's going to come down and see what it's like, I guess. Maybe she's not going to eat too much. And then down into the bustle and the hustle of the Two Squares Inn. Mugford Tindersticks, the proprietor, making sure that everything is happening as it should, even though you would estimate it's probably well into the morning, maybe nudging towards lunchtime. Breakfast is still well and truly underway. Sauce pots galore, brown sauce, mustard sauce, smoked sauce, spiked sauce. You don't have to order the plates are brought out and placed in front of you, whether you want a large amount or whether you're just feeling like you want to just pick at the edges. And light beers. There's some teas, some herbal teas for those that are interested in that, but it's a hustle and it's a bustle. As soon as you kind of come down, there's this pause to the room, not least of which because Esteldor just banged his head against the ceiling as he didn't quite duck for the smallness as he came through the room door arch. And then everybody, without any suggestion of it being particularly impolite, just watches as you all sit down. And then the bustle keeps going again. The table that you're seated at has Millie and Thornley, the two shepherds and the shepherd and shepherdess that you kind of came in with. They're a little bit downbeat, kind of like looking down into their food. Hi, yeah, morning.
Morning.
And they say, closing their heads together into discussion.
I'm sorry if I don't get have a breakfast with you, but I need to go out to breathe a fresh a piece of fresh air, you know. And she is quite pale and greenish in face, so and she keep her hand in front of her mouth to hide, to be on the point of be sick, and she quickly go out of the town and open the door, and outside she punch on the wall with her back and start breathing, trying to to get a bit better.
The air is fresh, but scented by the flowers gathered around. There's a thick jasmine that climbs up the corner of the wall with its white fluted flowers, and the waft of it kind of drifting through as the breeze takes you along. But you're not in the noise and you're not in the closed space of the inside. Deep breaths. Everybody stops again as you kind of come out. Stops and stares and watches you. And then you see the hustle and the bustle and the movement around in Whitfurrows. Hobbits on carts with the little pony traps moving along. There's some barrels being rolled down into the cellar of the inn. The main square is been erected into what looks to be a market. There's a lot of sweeping and tidying happening, and then you can see down towards the meadow and down to the river. There's a gaggle of children playing down there, rough and tumble games in the field as it's been, the big marquee is being deconstructed, darting in and out as they move along. Various people coming past you. Morning, 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 good morning, good morning. As you kind of like come through, and your companions in the main room. You've kind of got your food, you've got your drink. Millie and Thornley talking quietly to themselves.
Esteldor's definitely have a breakfast. Probably drinking some kind of tea rather than beer.
Yeah, you can have some tea. There's a lovely ginger and lemon tea that's been recommended just to kind of bring you around in the morning a little.
Look at while I'm eating and drinking. I look at was it Millie and Thornley?
Yep.
And are we sitting right next to they on our table?
Yeah, it's essentially there's a lot of communal tables, so it's not like small
Okay.
tables. It's big, long tables, and you'll just happen to be seated quite close to them. They're just a couple of places and off to the side. So it's like a big cafeteria kind of thing.
They're close enough for me to talk to.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Okay. I'd probably say good morning to them. Morning.
Morning, Esteldor. Oh,
Did
Thaniel
you,
is being broody with his hood up. He's letting the smoke of his hot drink waft in front of his face, observing.
Is he not sharpening his sword at them?
Not yet.
Did you manage to sell Barnabas?
Yeah, we did, but not for as much as we thought we were gonna get.
Oh right.
The said he scared the dogs. Said there's not much point in having sheep if the sheep looked after themselves, it'd put the shepherds out of a job too.
All right. Did the rest of the sheep get sold for a decent price?
Oh yeah, we got a good price for those. Good price for the ewes. We were hoping for a bit more for Barnabas. It was almost a bit of a shame to part with him, wasn't it? Wasn't it, Millie? Millie just kind of like nods. But I think he'll do us all right. I think he'll do us all right for the moment.
Don't mind me asking, how much did they undercut you for?
Well, I wouldn't say they undercut us, and the whole place has just gone quiet as you've asked this question.
I should have said. I should have said that I whispered that, but no.
I wouldn't say we were undercut. It was just, we had some hopes. That's all, as you do. I mean, probably more than we'd have got in Bree, and yeah, the noise is starting to filter back in again. Are you heading back to Bree?
Not just yet. No, we've got some business to sort out.
Are you going to be coming back through here before you head when you head back to Bree?
Looks at the others. Maybe.
It'd just be really good if we could travel with you again. We won't have Barnabas to defend us from any wolves this time, would we?
Yeah, true. Well, how long are you staying in the Shire?
Well, Millie, he looks across at Millie and Millie nods. Truth be told, it's just beautiful, isn't it? Have you noticed how many birds there are?
Yeah.
Have you have you noticed how there's just everything's plentiful? It's just, I don't know. Do we really want to go back to Bree? We could get ourselves a plot of land here. We could maybe get ourselves established.
I don't think they really like big folk settling down in their land. I think they're okay with us visiting, but to be honest, I don't think they would appreciate us staying here. Not to burst your bubble, obviously, but reality is different. You might be able to get like a bit of land on the border.
Well, the border's the forest, isn't it?
There's other borders of the Shire. The forest doesn't go all the way around the Shire.
Oh. Well, we're going to look into it anyway. Because it's nice and warm. It's bloody freezing as we came in. And that wind, the one that just eats through your clothes. I'm not feeling it here. And look at all the kids running around having the time of their lives. Wouldn't that be a lovely place to raise? And Millie kind of like just tells him to keep it quiet. Well, but if you come in, well, we'll take some interest. We'll have a look, and if you can come back, then and we're not able to get ourselves settled, then it would be really good if we're able to travel back with you.
I'm sure that would be okay. Yeah, it's okay with me.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
Can I? Tolman's kind of stopped chewing for a moment and has almost put his knife and fork down at the idea that tall folk would buy a plot of land in the Shire. Can I pick up on their point about the weather being different and come at it from a kind of like a little folk poem type thing about the Bree hobbits preferring the warmth of houses and the comforts of the hills around them and things like that, and Shire hobbits, the Shire hobbits dwelling in holes under the ground and all that kind of thing. But just with a view to like seeing if that elicits something deeper about why they would want to stay in the Shire.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kind of thinking riddle-ish type stuff, really.
Yeah. Okay. So make a riddle roll as you kind of like start to half sing, half narrate, half explain.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure I think that's too many halves. That kind of context.
Yeah. Yeah, he's digging deep for an old childhood rhyme that's like got the sense of the folklore of Shire hobbits and the differences between the Bree hobbits, and there's like weather and things woven into it. Essentially, it's all about home comforts and what flavour of home comfort you like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a riddle, three dice and the feet die. That's 12, 15, 20. The target number is 15, so that's just a normal success.
And what you're trying to establish here, what their response is to the different elements to get a bit of understanding of where they are.
So so there's a bit of the thing about like Bree hobbits being more friendly to the tall folk and being happy to live among them.
Yeah.
And Shire hobbits being, very insular and liking to keep to themselves and have things their way and not have to compromise the way they live for other people, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay.
And I guess what I'm trying to establish is whether they really want to live in the Shire, or a sense of whether they want to live in the Shire, or whether there's something stopping them from going back to Bree.
Yeah. Okay. So so you're pulling out all of these different phrases, and you're pulling out all of these different kind of stories, and weaving them together, and using them almost as allegories of the differences, and the sense that you get, and what they kind of they latch onto, and the bit that they ask more questions about and seek to understand a little bit more, and you can see them reflecting and integrating this into their view of the world. They don't really know what they want, and they know they've got experience of a life in Bree, and thereabouts, and they've come into this idyllic world here, and they're in a grass is greener on the other side no practical considerations, no thought beyond tomorrow, really. And the way that they're looking to each other, you kind of get the impression that they're possibly outsiders from their normal place, brought together, and they're a unit of two, and maybe they're going to become a unit of three in some short order, and they're just trying to find something that is just safer and more comfortable than the world that they have known outside. So it's maybe not a whimsical thought about what you're, about should we settle in the Shire, and whilst Tolman has perhaps explained the reasons why in a less direct fashion than Esteldor did, the reasons why do kind of come through, but it also gives them the impression that if all of that's true, and and there are hobbits who have left the Shire to go to Bree and have left this idyllic world behind, then perhaps there's more to Bree than they had thought that they'd seen before. So it kind of communicates a little bit of that to them. They're not taking any more or different, or there's no great turnaround in their opinions, but they're kind of like got a broader understanding, having kind of listened to what you're saying and arrived at a more complex, nuanced understanding of their situation afterwards.
Okay. Interesting. I think I'll continue the conversation with them a little bit, with Esteldor as well, because Tolman's inquisitive, so he would, if he'd cottoned on to something, then he might want to keep sort of, trying to unravel the thread a little bit. Of course, there aren't many other towns outside of, well, as I understand it, outside of the Shire, not nearby, leastways. I know there's Bree. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, these rangers here, they travel all over.
Esteldor's got his map out. He's having a look to see. Well, of
and
course,
our friend Gudrun is from way across the mountains.
And they're looking around.
Where
is she?
Oh, she's probably talking to the birds, I expect, or maybe singing a song about her king, something like that, probably.
That would be like her.
But, well, that's usually what she's up to. She's on her own. But you could ask her. I mean, that sounds like a very, very fancy place. Little knights in armor and dwarves and markets and.
I have heard songs about it, but of course it's not just Bree. There's Archet and Chetwood, and there's, albeit more risk, there's some small holdings around. There's hamlets gathered about. What do you think, Molly? Millie. Millie looks at him. Millie. I gotta say, now that I think about it, everything's so small, isn't it, here? Well, there is that, and we would stand out, wouldn't we? And
Right.
I don't want to be standing out.
Well, size is relative. I mean, if you're a big person, I imagine the Shire does look small.
But I think we could talk to Gudrun about Dale, seeing how she. But it's a long way to go, isn't it? And with you in your condition, Millie says, "Don't let that be holding you back now. If that's where we want to go, then we can make it work. this month yet.
Have you ever been to Chetwood or Archit?
No, it's all just been a bit too far.
Because Gert's has family in Chetwood.
Oh, well, maybe we'll talk to Gert as well. Where is Gert?
How
He's
sleeping?
he's still upstairs, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he will. I know he's got a good heart. He'll want you to. He'll want you to find somewhere safe for the three of you, the two of you.
Well, let's talk to Gudrun and let's talk to Gert and see. We've got money now. Maybe not quite as much as we thought, but we've got a bit behind us. It's more than we've ever had before. And if Gudrun can make the journey from Dale, then there's no reason why we can't. And I've seen dwarves come through Bree, and they must be heading there. We could maybe join up with one of them. I think I'd prefer to be further away than just in Chetwood. Well, let's just see, darling. Let's just see. Sorry,
Pardon me for asking. Don't have to answer the question, but are you both originally from Bray? You just don't want to be in the area anymore?
Yeah, we married for love, and our families, they just didn't like that.
Oh, it's one of those.
So it's hard when you happen into people that you used to run up to and have a hug from, and they turn their back on you. So the further away I think that we can be, the newer our start. But anyway, we've got some time to spend, and this is a lovely place. We didn't really get to walk along the river yesterday, so today we're going to go and take a walk along the river. We're going to kind of see where that track takes us, and then if you're still here later, we can have a talk to Gert, and I'll find Gudrun and see what it's like. And then maybe if you're passing back this way, that we can find a way across into Bree with you before the winter, or we'll travel with some dwarves, or maybe we'll make the journey ourselves.
I think you should wait and travel with us, because these ranger fellas have got a better job of getting you somewhere safe than traveling with dwarves. I'm not meaning no disrespect to dwarves, but I mean that dead thing they smote it had fire coming out of its face, so these fellas are very strong is what I'm saying, and brave.
Nathaniel.
And
yes, that is correct.
Esteldor's the opposite, because he sort of like shrinks back a little bit and a bit embarrassed.
So
appreciative.
I'm sure they gladly take you across the mountains all the way to Dale, and then
across the mountains,
come
it's
back
as
here,
far as
maybe
that.
Oh, I'm sure they would, wouldn't they? Oh, Daniel's looking at me a bit funny. Also, Millie, careful down by the river, because it does get awful slippery, and don't go on those stepping stones in those shoes in your condition. I mean, so soon after breakfast.
Thank you for that. Thank you. We'll take care. Don't worry yourself, Tolman. We'll take care. And you continue through your breakfast. Gudrun just leaning against the wall, watching the world kind of go by, starting to settle down a little bit. Couple of young Hobbit girls come up. You're beautiful. I really like your hair. I wish I could do my hair like that. How'd you get your hair like that? My mum says I'm not allowed my hair to be like that.
Gudrun is a bit embarrassed because she, with this question, she get aware that she didn't dress up and prepare herself in the morning. So she quickly move her hair to fix it. And smile, just smile to the children, not knowing what to answer, and then she said, "Well, you have beautiful hair too."
Oh, thank you. I think it's just a little bit too blonde. I don't like it so
No,
much. I think yours is nicer.
it's perfect for the boy that will fall in love with you.
Well, they kind of like go red and giggle a little bit. The one who hasn't been speaking kind of leans in and whispers into the other's ear. When you came in yesterday, you had like a big, like a bow with you.
Oh yeah,
I,
you don't have bow here in the Shire. You don't use it.
well, some of the boys make them. My mum says I'm not allowed one,
Oh, why?
and she says
That
that.
is perfect. A bow is not like sword. It's a perfect weapon for a gore, because and she mimicked the movement. It's like it's a gentle movement to shot an arrow. Uh, Very proper for a gentle girl.
The other one pipes up. My brother, he says I'm not very good. He says you're not going to let me use his bow until I can learn to shoot properly. But he won't teach me.
Sure, I can teach, but I don't know if I have enough time to.
They look
But
really disappointed.
surely I can start.
Yeah, because then I'll be able to show my brother, and he won't have any reason not to let me play with it. And maybe I'll be able to shoot him with it like he shoots me with it.
But before, I think you should be allowed by your mother and your father. I don't want to put you in an awkward situation.
I'm not sure my mum is going to be so keen on this. I'll go and ask.
Yeah.
Kind of go away. Come back 2 minutes later. She said, "Yeah."
Okay. So just a minute. I turn the light. Wow. So we can start a bit of a lesson here.
Yeah. Here in front of the inn.
No, not here, because when you shot with a bow, you need to find a proper place where you can shot without the risk
We could go
to
down.
shoot.
Go down to the meadow.
Someone
There's some hay.
accident,
There's some hay swains there. That's where the boys shoot.
Yes, it's a perfect place, I think. Or you want to do it you want to do your training in a hidden place so that you can make a surprise to your brother and the other.
Well, that's the only place that we know. Let's do that, and they kind of like get hold of your hands and start to pull Gudrun.
We can we can try by the stream if you want.
Okay, okay, try that.
We shot the bow in the direction of the stream, so maybe by accident we can hit a fish, maybe, and not a hobbit.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be better to hit a fish. It's better eating on a fish. You want to eat a hobbit? And you make your way down to the stream.
And just a moment, because I have not my bow with me. I
Oh,
need to go upstairs to take it, and tell my friend that I'm going with you for a while.
okay.
And so she she get she goes in the house where the other were having a breakfast, and she looks around. She had overheard the conversation and makes sign to the other, no, don't do that. But she don't want to intervene in the conversation, and and then say, well, I find two pupils here, and I need to find my bow and go downstairs to downstream to give a lesson. I think it would take a couple of hours, and then I come back for lunch. Have a nice day.
Okay, happy shooting.
And
Okay,
so,
Gudrun. So we'll catch up with you after around lunchtime in about an hour.
yeah,
Okay. As Gudrun goes to retrieve a bow from the room, she can hear the deep, sonorous snoring of Gert. Undisturbed by the morning
and
sun.
Gudrun bows in front of him, and then she doesn't resist and kiss him on the nose. And then smiling, she goes downstairs with the bow.
Back in Bree, Gert's wife feels a disturbance in the force. You head down, kind of head through. They've moved away from the entrance of the inn down to the direction of the pasture and down to the river. And you kind of head down to the river, and they're quite apt pupils. They kind of start to get the basic motion, to kind of get the principles of breathing and holding. And I don't know very much about doing anything to do with bows, but I have shot a rifle many times in my life, so I imagine it's very similar. But you have to actually have muscle strength, and they're kind of like quite good pupils, and they kind of get the very basics of it quite quickly. Though your bow is far too big and far too strong a pull for them, but they're able to fashion out of just a bit of string and a small branch something that would resemble a kid's bow, firing bits of wood as kids do.
in the beginning, I just teach them the standing, the breathing, and the movements without any tools in hands. So
Okay.
just stand here with the right hand, stride, and so on.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Go on, sorry.
and then I show them the movement, the complete movement with my body, my hands, and and so on.
Cool.
And I ask them to repeat the movement without any tools in it.
Yeah, they do all of that. They kind of straighten their backs and they kind of like turn and do whatever it is. Come on.
Yes.
And then, what you might not know is Alessandro, Sean was telling us about his archery practice this morning, so I'm trying very hard not to offend all the archery guys. Pulls them back. There's a small gaggle of other Hobbit youths, mostly male, but some females that are kind of gathered a little bit away. Some of them sat down watching, some of them stood trying to repeat the exercise. That's my brother. And she points at one of the ones who stood there, kind of like doing all of this in a slightly mocking way, in a way that sometimes boys can be.
As a task as a homework, my pupils have to find a fitting branch. They can bend and the string, so they can make their own bow, their own first bow.
Yeah, okay. They hunt around and they kind of find something. They pull out some string that they just happen to have in their pockets because they're young kids, and they kind of start to make these things. The first one that the quieter girl brings back isn't really good. It's not got enough bend in it. It's just a bit too rigid, so you kind of have to send her off again. But she comes back with something far more suitable.
And then I can teach them this is good one, this is not, and then I afterward I show them which branch are good, not too old, neither too young, but in the middle one, and which tree are better for a bow.
Oh,
And so on.
they're less interested in that than they were in the practical aspects of it, and their attention's starting to flag a little bit because they were like, "This is what I wanted to do," but they're still paying attention. The other group have got a bit bored and have head back off to the meadow, and then you can feel that it's getting a little bit longer. You've been at it for a little bit longer than perhaps you intended.
And to keep her attention high, every now and then I show them a little example of the outcome of their training. So I do a kind of exhibition of shooting with my bow, kind of moving a moving log that hanging on the tree, and I try to hit while it's moving, and so on. Or I ask them to throw a log in the river, and I try to hit on the fly.
You hit the log, but you miss the fly. But yeah, you got the log. Okay. Okay, they're really excited at the end, and you can see them practicing it as they're walking back up. The other group comes down, and there's a bit of jostling between them, but they kind of like show them, and they show them all this stuff, and then the other group gathers around and is like listening to them explain. No, it has to. No, that branch is just too big, and you need to use the yew tree rather than an oak and other things. And in fact, it would be better if you just got different types of wood and you laminated them like that, and you have the more flexible wood there and the less flexible there, and you get more power and stuff. And it's heard, I understand that, out in the steps of Eriador that there's mounted riders who use it. Anyway, you know that. So they're all gathered around, and then you kind of like wend your way up through back into the inn. In the inn, two important things have happened. Breakfast has merged seamlessly into lunch with no discernible change in the volume of patrons or the food eating activity, and it's almost kind of like the spectrum of food has just shifted one meal along in like gradations. So that's the first significant thing. The second significant thing is that Gert has decided to come down in a kind of way, sits down just as kind of like the plate of half finished bacon is taken away, and his arms reaching out to try and get it. Oh, hi, Tolman.
Well. You do look a little bit pokey.
You kind of got a flagon of cool water, just chilled down. Oh, I needed that.
Yeah, you don't look fit for travelling today, Gert.
I wouldn't say no just to stay in a little bit. Maybe another day.
Oh, why not? There's plenty of hospitality to experience here, and we've not even begun to explore the area.
Oh well, and his eyes track as he follows his lamb shank with mint sauce being taken over to one of the tables. Yeah, the area. Yeah. Well, I've missed breakfast, haven't I? So I got a bit of catching up to do, I think. Excuse me, could I have one of those? No, kind of food starts to kind of come out. What do you guys want to do for the day?
Well, I was talking to old Amblin here next to me, who's reminding me that Budgeford is actually the home of the Bolger family, and they're quite a notable family. As I wonder if we might have a wander around and speak to a few folk around Budgeford.
Yeah, okay.
I've never really been this far east in the Shire before.
Okay. And Esteldor?
Being like pretty being as we stand out quite a lot, I'd probably stay with Tolman.
Yep.
I'll say,
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't mind accompanying you, Tolman.
Nathaniel's gravitated to a little booth where the angle of the sun coming through creates some very meaningful and moody shadows for him to kind of like lurk within. And he's practicing the angle of his hood for maximum kind of like effect.
I'll push a stool towards him to rest his feet on.
Yeah, he puts his feet up there and he pulls out his pipe, starts to wreath himself in pipe smoke. The mood he's going for is somewhat disrupted by the fact that there's really bright Thanksgiving bunting kind of like gathered around him, and a vase of beautiful cut flowers next to him. But he's making the best of the situation that he can. And a hamper is prepared for you. as the talk of the town, and you're kind of like heading out as you see that Gudrun is walking back up as you guys are heading out.
I'll probably take my weapons with me, but I'd keep them like covered and wrapped.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Concealed. That's the word.
Yeah. And you see Gudrun coming up. She's got a bow and slung as she's walking up. She feels a little bit better now. The activity, I think, has taken the edge off of queasiness.
Oh, Gudrun, did the training go well?
Yes. I taught a couple of gentle Hobbit girls to shoot with a bow.
Well, yeah, I must say, Gudrun, the exercise seems to have done you the world of good. It's brought a lot of colour back to your face. We were just going to have a look around the town of Budgeford, which is notable for its it being the home of the Bolger family, who are quite an important bunch of people. Not that I know anything about them, but it's I'm told they're very important. I wonder if we might explore a little bit. Also, there's a little bit of woodland over there, and I reckon this time of year it might be quite good for foraging for mushrooms.
Oh, that would be a splendid idea. I think I need to walk open air for a while to proper metabolize the pie that I ate last night. So yes, exploring this splendid country is, I think, is a great idea. I'm with you.
Well, also the river. I don't know if you know, but a little bit further up there, the river does split into two, and with the woodland, particularly how the trees kind of grow across the river there, you might see some kingfishers. I don't know if that interests you at all. Kingfishers or a heron. Quite often see herons.
Well, I went fishing with my dad back in Dale. We used to fish in the running river, if you know that's the name of the river there. And well, so, but I have not a can. Have you a can?
No, I haven't really got anything on me. But we can, if we wander
can
down.
make
There's some folk up there. I wonder if we wander over and see what's what. I'm sure we can rustle something up or borrow something. I always, if I borrow something, I frequently borrow things from outside of people's houses, but I do always put them back.
And then we can ask the kingfisher if we can use his reserve to foraging a little, to fish a little one for our dinner. And maybe it knows something about the environment there.
Tolman's visibly excited at this prospect and starts nudging Esteldor and say, "That's what I was hoping she'd say. I really want to see her speak to a kingfisher."
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Player characters that can talk to animals and plants are the bane of my existence, it has to be said, because I now have to pretend to be a kingfisher.
Surely you've got a voice for that, Paul.
Oh, which one would you like? Pick a number between 1 and 7.
6.
Kingfisher 6 it is then. Okay. The you borrow a rod and some gear from the hobbits that are fishing. Certainly Tolman is able to convince them, and the river is very different from the river running. It moves in a steady, casual way. Trees overhanging, reeds flowing as you move along, rocks breaking the surface, very gradual banks down. There's not steep-sided banks, there's no white water to speak of. It's a cool in the dappled shade of the trees that line the riverside. The sunlight filtering through and playing, fish rising up. As the river widens in some places, you get these deep pools on the far bank, and you can see there shades and flashes the sides of the trout or the perch. Even some of the larger fish come up and grab at you. And every so often you come across a pair of hobbits or a small family just enjoying their time away from the toil of the harvest that's been brought in. And there is this iridescent blue and orange darting, moving from place to branch to river. Down it dives and comes up with its minnow in its mouth. Much, much smaller than you might have imagined them to be. And there's more as you kind of settle into the path by the river. A stoic figure of a heron, poised movelessly. And then as it starts to get a little bit towards evening, there's a small log set to the side, and perched there is indeed a kingfisher. Looking around. The darkness starting to settle a little bit, but still discernible.
And Gudrun try to interact with him and say, "Oh, good evening, my feathered lord."
I say, good evening.
How is going the fishing today?
Grand, absolutely grand.
Oh, great! And could I join the fishing with my friend here? Could we have your grant?
I think you'll make quite a disturbance to the water when you splash in. You'll scare all the fish.
We just use rod and string, so without any disturbance for your pool.
You will not disturb the fish?
No.
My domain stems from the Elder, with its beak. You see that over there? All the way through to the trout pool, back there before the stream narrows and goes into the darkness of the princeling. He is no king, he's a princeling further upstream. But between the Elder and the rare stream narrows, this is my domain, and the fish here are mine. You can become my fief, and you may well fish here, so long as I can take my tithe of payment. What say you to those terms, lady?
Oh, think I could agree. And I turn with to Tolman, and I ask him, what do you think? Could we agree with the term?
What was he asking? All I could hear was tweet, 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 tweet.
I'm
And
sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you could understand as well. And then I repeat the term of the question of the kingfisher to
Oh.
Tolman.
so he just wants some of our fish if we catch them. I mean, you can see fish jumping out of the water along here. There's brown trout. There's maybe even a pike under there. I reckon we can catch plenty of fish, and I'd love for you to present the kingfisher, the king of the river, with some of our catch. That would make my day. I don't know about you, Esteldor. Is that your kind of thing?
Well, yes, it's definitely interesting.
So I think we agree with your term, and we are very prized to be here and to have the opportunity to offer you a present for your kindness.
Thank you very much.
My Father Lord.
Gift giving is very important, and the presentation of tribute to one such as I is exactly how things should be. I'm very, very pleased myself. And it darts across to a branch on the other side of the river. Now, go to. Kind of like looks around, splashes down. Tricksy little buggers, the minnows. Comes back without anything in it. I think you guys are going to need to make a hunting roll, whomever is going to fish.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. That makes sense.
And the kingfisher's
do.
darting
Well-
in and darting out.
Well, one.
What?
I am 2 in hunting, if I remember. Just let me to go up. Oh, yes, I have 2 in hunting and it's also favorite.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll support you then.
Okay.
I'll spend a point of hope and support you. And also Tolman's just kind of scratching his head and smiling and going, "Wow, well, I fancy that. I never thought Tolman Bunce of the messenger service would witness a lady of Dale conversing right there and then with a Shire kingfisher. Well. This is something special."
You hear a coo.
So I'll spend the point of hope.
Coo, and there's like a couple of wood pigeon flitted at the top.
Oh,
Ignore them. Don't bother
it's
with
a
them.
very, very unfortunate roll, I think. 6 and 4, 10, far under the threshold. So is a failure,
So
or is a success with woe, if you want.
what would that be?
You got the bonus dice from
Yes.
me supporting you as well. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I with the 2 feed dice, I got a 2 and a 3, and for the other, 1, 2, and 3.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh dear.
So Gudrun casts into a tree and manages to. When I was a kid one
it
time,
was the kingfisher.
I cast and I actually got a pigeon that was flying overhead caught in the line.
Oh, wow.
I was like, Dad! I did not know what to do. So you cast out Gudrun and you kind of like you're feeling and you kind of like doing this, and you do manage to land what looked to be, as you're kind of like pulling it back in, probably a juvenile brown trout as it's kind of like coming, and it's, you know, you kind of like playing it. The kingfisher like, oh, oh, they are nice. Oh, yes, 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 yes. And then this pike just darts out of the reeds. It's kind of tiger green stripes along its back, having it hidden. It latches onto this trout as just at the moment that you pull it out, this pike comes, grabs the actual the trout down, kind of lands on the side of the bank, so like that. Get it in the river! Get it in the river! That thing'll eat me! It'll eat me! Kingfisher say, get it back in the... Ah! Hate them! Hate them! Thieves! Vagabonds! Scoundrel of a... Taking my fish! Kingfisher's apoplectic with rage at the sight of this this pike. How dare it! I command you! Deal with that cad!
Can I have a go at casting?
Yeah, you can make a. Well, what you're doing with this pike's kind of like eating the trout. It's kind of like making its way as it's flapping around, not flapping, but flopping around, getting towards the river. It's probably about. It's more of a jack pike than an adult pike, so it's maybe about this.
So Tolman obviously doesn't speak Kingfisher.
Oh, okay.
But he gets the sense that.
Oh, the kingfisher's hopping around. It's going bouncing from branch to branch to branch. The pigeons are like, ooh, and they're off.
And
Gudrun is quite impressed by the scene, and then tried to translate to Tolman. Oh well, the kingfisher is quite disappointed by the events here, and
do you think
she blushed a little.
Yeah, Tolman is Tolman, and thinks he's got an answer to the problem because he has fairy blood, or so he's told by his mother, and he kind of just sort of strips his cloak off and just jumps into the river, trying to grab hold of the pike.
What? What is happening here? I said, don't jump in the river.
Gudrun tried to catch him before he dived into the water.
Let's have an athletics roll, contested, I guess.
Okay.
Contested athletics roll.
Okay, athletic.
I mean, what could possibly go wrong with this? Esteldor, this is all playing out in front of you as you were kind of like getting yourself ready. You were like grabbing the rod, going, I'll have a go at this, and then Tolman's kind of like jumped at the pike.
And Gudrun managed to catch Tolman before she dived into the water. He got 18, and my threshold is 16. So.
Oh, okay, but what did Tolman get? So this will be like a contested roll.
I got 10. I've got no athletics. He's not athletic.
So absolutely, Gudrun manages to grab Tolman, but Tolman's like on his belly, half out over the river. Kind of like you've got his breeches and his leg. He's got like this pike almost shoved into the river, almost like gathered in his cloak.
And she kind of hug him, and she whisper on his ear, and wow, the kingfisher would be very disappointed if we disturb the pool and the fishes that they are in. So in order not to make our situation worse, we should not move the water. So don't dive in it.
Well,
Please.
Did Tolman manage to grab the pike?
So you got the pike in whatever. I imagine you like took off your like blazer jacket style, made a leap for the pike, which was just about to plop itself into the water. You've got it wrapped. Your momentum was carrying you well into the river, which is when Gudrun kind of like got you by the breeches and the leg, and she's kind of like pulled you back. She's saying this to you. The pike is giving it some in your arms. Esteldor's kind of like looking on. You hear a girl's voice behind going, "Ma'am, are they Bucklanders?" and you hear a mum's voice going, "No, dearie, they're not strange enough to be Bucklanders. They'll be like from outside the Shire." So
Tolman's got
strangers.
So Tolman's kind of got hold of the slippery, strong pike in his kind of outer cloak, and he's presumably Gudrun's kind of got hold of his feet or something,
like his backside, like the top, just like the top of his trousers, where but not. And then like one of the legs, that kind of thing. She's a lot bigger than Tolman.
On his rope. Yeah, his rope belt.
Yeah.
So he's in the spur of the moment and being inspired by Gudrun's ability to commune with wildlife. He attempts to be polite to the pike. Now look here, Mr. Pike. I know you want to eat that trout, but we caught it first. Well, Lady Gudrun caught it first, actually, if you don't mind, and she's travelled a very long way, and she's got a special agreement with that kingfisher, who's a king of the river by any standard of the law, well, nature and that, which I'm sure you understand, being a proud beast of the river. But really, that trout's too small for you anyway. You deserve much finer things than that.
Okay. Make a riddle roll. Fuck it, why not?
Or a riddle or courtesy. Or
I was thinking riddle more
fine,
because you don't speak pike, but courtesy. Whichever one, pick
okay,
one.
yeah,
Whichever one you want to kind of go with.
No, good point. Yeah. This is just burbling to the pike. Yeah, okay. So I'll do riddle. Yeah. Oh, I've got a Gandalf. And 8 points on my dice.
Well, it's an automatic success. So whether it's because of the jostling or whether it's because of the speech that you give to the pike, and if the kingfisher is the king of the river, the pike are the outlaws and the bandits that prey upon the weak, and the lesser people. So whether it's from the sternness of Tolman's speech, which I imagine is what Tolman thinks, or whether it's just because Tolman's dragging this pike around as he's kind of like being held over the river, the pike chokes out the trout. The trout kind of like injured, kind of like just bobbing along the surface of the river. The kingfisher dives down, takes the injured trout just as the pike sloshes and swims away, having lost Tolman's grasp. The kingfisher kind of comes down to the log beside where you are, pushes out, and the trout is far too big for it. The trout's probably 2 or 3 times the size of the kingfisher, at least, but being able to be speared by its beak, and he kind of drops it down. And he goes, "Jolly good show, well done," and kind of like says, "I'll take my part of the fish." Kind of like pecks away at it. His beak's not designed for like ripping the flesh apart, so he absolutely massacres this trout, leaving you with this like really badly pecked at carcass. But I don't normally get this kind. It's exquisite. Oh, this has a lovely flavour. Oh, and the bouquet. So excellent. But it's getting rather dark now. I'm going to head back for the evening. And off it stars. Thump, thump.
And oh, 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 our Lord, could I ask you a question if I'm not
It stops and turns its head back. Oh, this has got such a wonderful aftertaste. Yes, of course you may ask a question.
not to be. I don't want to be uncourteous, but I'm not from this land, so I'm just like to know how is this place. What are the dangers, or if there are anything that I need to point my attention to, if you want to suggest me.
Sometimes the river gets very high and floods over my narrow stream. And sometimes the fisher from upriver tries to take my pool. And my dear mamma, bless her, when I was but a fledgling, told me there was a time when the river became hard as the ground, and it was a difficult time for all. Those are the dangers that I recognise in my domain. And I bid you adieu. Off it goes.